Yes, let's talk about progression in Bleach Resonance. Progression is pretty much key, you know, if you want to go all the way up, level up your account, unlock new game modes, as well as level up your characters. You need a really quick way to understand that, and today we're gonna break it down for you guys. There's a lot of elements to that. So the first big element would be stamina. I mean, stamina is really important because, you know, it determines basically how quick, or you know, how fast you go through your account and level up. So obviously stamina is limited. Right now we have a limit of 240 right here. This is your basic spiritual power. And now we have also, you could, you know, use an item, spiritual pressure nourisher, and restore 60 spiritual power right there. That is from an item you could use. Also, we have this spiritual power storage. So when spiritual power reaches or exceeds its auto recover limit, gain 1 point every 12 minutes up to 1000 points. This is actually added as a new thing when you are at max stamina. This is really nice. So anytime you want to get some of those stamina in for, you know, try to do another set of like missions or anything, you could use it from this stored stamina. You know, that is really nice. So now that we have an understanding of stamina, we also need to understand player experience as well, because that is the most important thing to unlock many different progression type of game modes and stuff like that. Other ways to get experience is through the main story. There is the main story right here. We also have the hard mode as well as the extreme mode, which grants you experience from each levels. So not only the main story mode gives you experience points, but you could also take a look at the supplies. And this is basically where all your training materials are and all those type of missions. And this would also grant you a little bit of experience points for each clear that you do. You know, and there's a lot of them. And, you know, we're going to talk about that, you know, the character stuff. There's a lot to progress through character. So we have a lot of missions for that. If you head over to trial mode, there's a few events that is like the stamp ascensions and stamp enhancements that gives you experience points as well, like the hollow elimination gives you experience points right here. There is, I think, full of grace also gives you experience points as well. So there is various modes that could give you account experience, and you could progress through like that. Okay guys, so now that you know stamina as well as player experience to unlock many different type of, you know, missions and game modes and stuff, the next focus should be like tickets. And obviously when you go through these game modes and missions, you'll unlock summoning tickets because they're given out for free at the very start. So these summoning tickets are needed basically to get a selected character that you want, or the guaranteed character. You know, you're really trying to aim for all the SSR characters in the game. So if you head over to here, they're giving out free summoning tickets at the Battlefront Recruit, right? And, you know, if you go into the story mode and finish it, the normal, hard, and extreme that I talked about early on, you know, they gave you like 5 summoning tickets for each completed chapter, which is really nice, as well as the spiritual gem needed for that weapon stamp banner as well. And also we have this trial commendation, which also gives you some tickets for each completed run. So this gives you 55 summoning tickets as well as 40 spiritual gems, man. Absolutely amazing. So as you go through and just fight on and going through the story mode and all these new game modes, you will eventually get a lot of summoning tickets needed to get the SSR characters. Not only that, if you go ahead over to here, there is a special Reaper duty log. This also gives you a lot of summoning tickets as you complete day 1, day 2, day 3 events, and there's various things you could do as you progress through each day, completing chapter 1 through 5, and there's a few more up to 7 days. And, you know, completing all this would give you this many tickets as well as the gems as well. Really good free stuff for free-to-play players. So next thing is progression with characters, and this is also very important because once you get an SSR character, there's a few things that you really need to focus on to really maximize the character to deal a lot of damage. So right now, let's say if you got Kisuke from the select banner, or you know, you got lucky, you know, we rerolled for Kisuke and you got him, right? What is really the main focus once you get this character, other than the fact that, you know, you're trying to level him up, you know, and you know, the normal ascension, level him up and stuff? The main thing to focus on would be stamps. You know, stamps in this game is like a huge game changer. It gives you a lot of enhancements, not including the character skills enhancement, but a huge boost in stats. So once you get an SSR character, try to aim for that specific SSR character's weapon stamp. So if you head over to here, the recruitment, try selecting that specific SSR character's weapon stamp immediately and try getting it on the guaranteed. So let's say you just got Kisuke, you know, confirm that you want to get that Kisuke's exclusive weapon stamp, and it would do some good things for the character's enhancement right there. So the exclusive weapon stamp gives you a special effect, right? And for Kisuke, it increases the maximum Rishi analysis stacks to 6. So more stacks to attack buffs, as well as increase the damage multiplier of special attacks by 15%. So overall, weapon stamps is crucial once you get an SSR character. I would focus on getting that first. So the next biggest thing, aside from the weapon stamps, would be the regular type of stamps that you equip. And you have like the set stamps, set stamp 1, 2, and 3, as well as the core stamps. And core stamps is a huge game changer, just like the weapon stamps, guys. So, you know, the set stamps, you know, has its own set of like basic stats as well as advanced stats for each one, right? And you got to really target a specific stat based off of the character. So, you know, Ikaku is like full assault, so you definitely need some type of crit rate or crit damage. Focus on that, right? And these, you know, stamps have like different tiers. There's like a basic tier, right? And then there's a purple tier, and then there's like a yellowish or golden tier that's like the best. So obviously the stats increases, you know, they're really better. So each set have different type of effects right here. So we got the 2-piece set as well as a 3-piece set. So a 2-piece for Ikaku increases trust damage by 11%, and for a 3-piece set increases special attacks damage by 24% and ult damage by 11% for 15 seconds. So, you know, immediately when you try unlocking these, you know, the stamp, what is that? The stamp trials right here, the stamp full of grace. This is where you get the set stamps. As you can see here, you know, we got all the Ikaku specific set stamps, and you know, there's different levels. So obviously on the last level you get that, you know, that golden tier or the best type of tier. Immediately get it and put that into your character. Right, you need to get that specific Ikaku exclusive effect for that 3-piece set. Right, so that is set stamps. Now, the biggest game changer would be your core stamp. Core stamp is literally amazing. If you get the exclusive SSR core stamp for that designated character, you would be doing a ton of damage. Like, we're talking about 45% of damage. We're talking about 30% of damage for 50 seconds. That's a lot, bro. A lot. Once I equipped this to Ikaku, like, I've been just melting down these enemies one after the other in these missions, bro. That's how good these core stamps are. So, how do I get them? You have Stamp Corridor. This used to be pay to win. You know, these core stamps, you know, was pay to win, and they were locked it into the gacha, but now it's farmable, right? We have Corridor of Lost Chapters, so you could get these. What is this? Corridor Key. So a Corridor Key is basically lets you play this mission right here. You can get a weekly supply, right? And there's different type of shadow box. You know, there's this type of shadow box, the normal one, the purple one, and the gold one. And these different shadow boxes gives you a chance of getting the core stamps for, you know, some of the designated characters. And there's also some core stamps that are for all characters, which is really nice. Universal core stamps, right? And there is a guarantee of getting a core stamp as well as some type of fragments to get the full set, basically, right? And that is the premium set. And then we have the purple ones, which has the chance of getting the SSR core stamp shards, and then the purple tier, and then the basic tier, right? And also, once you go through and challenge these missions, you have the chance of dropping this shadow box right here, and this drops a guaranteed random SSR core stamp when the progression is like at 100%. So as you go through the challenge, 100%, you get a guaranteed SSR core stamp. Really, really nice. So you might be wondering, how do I get this corridor key, right? You need the corridor key to get in. So big tip in getting those corridor keys: every time you click the story mode, you have to get a 3-star. 3-star, 3-star in every single one of them. And once you get here, you get those corridor keys right here. Complete stage goals and you get the corridor key. Same thing for the main story, the hard mode, extreme, you know, same situation. You need to get a 3-star for all of that to get that corridor key. And this is crucial, guys. Crucial because you definitely need those SSR core stamps. Alright guys, so that pretty much wraps up this video. This was a full-on progression, how to progress really fast into playing Bleach Resistance for the first time. Hope this was helpful. So with that, I hope you guys liked the video. On to the next one, guys.